Blizz near side, dangles around the defender, shoots, big blocker save. And now we're going to get some fisticuffs thrown around here. So our most previous episode, we were inside the rink with Nick Andrews. We decided, what the heck, why not? Let's get back into the rink. So we're back inside Larson Ice Center for another episode of the Blizz Show podcast, brought to you by our friends at H&R Block. We've stuck with the defenseman theme last week. This week we're sticking with it again, and we got the Drags man, the Dragon, or whatever kind of nickname he wants. I don't know how many nicknames this guy's got, but he's got plenty of them. The Lakeville, Minnesota product, Brock Draeger is here. What's up, Brock? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. We're inside the Larson Ice Center. It's usually, I was concerned when we brought the stuff out here that it was going to be too cold, but you know what? It's actually not. I'm actually enjoying it.
It's not too bad.
I mean, you're Minnesota. You're used to cold, so. But then again, I grew up in Rapid City, so I'm used to it as well. But the Lakeville, Minnesota product is here. He's the only guy on this team from Minnesota, so that's what's most interesting to me when I got here. So before we get into growing up in Minnesota and what it was like there, it seems to me like a lot of Minnesota people are not from the North American Hockey League. Am I just wrong about that, or what's the pattern with that?
I don't know. I mean, this year it definitely seems like a Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan.
That's what I've been saying to everybody.
Michigan League, but I don't know. Last year we had, I think, 5 or 6 guys from Minnesota.
Okay.
And the year before that, I heard there was at least six more.
It's just surprising to me. I mean, I played college hockey in Minnesota, so I don't get it. But
right.
You know what? Hey, you're the only one here. At least we have someone. That's what's nice about it. So growing up in Minnesota, the state of hockey, I've been there. I went to college there. I understand how a lot of things in Minnesota work. Lakeville is really close to where I went to school at Bethel. So just for the average Joe out there who doesn't really know much about Lakeville, just kind of describe what it was like for you growing up in Lakeville, Minnesota.
It's a bigger town. It got split up to 2 high schools.
Yep.
That was just before I moved there. And it was a big football town.
Yeah.
And then it definitely, when I started playing high school, I think we went to the state 4 times in a row. And then my junior year, we actually didn't get to go.
Really?
But my sophomore year, our team went 31-0. So that was a really big accomplishment. Yeah. It was really great coaching staff, and the seniors were really big in leadership there.
Yeah, before we get back to your childhood, I want to follow up from that. So Lakeville North High School is where you went to, and obviously high school hockey is just revered around the state. It's a religion almost. It's why they call it the state of hockey. I mean, I've been to those White Bear Lake games. I've been to those Edina games. It's bigger than it's bigger than the Rapid City Rush games, in my opinion, out in East. And now, granted, that was 6 years ago. But at the same time, hockey is so big as it pertains to high school. Kind of just describe for the viewer out there what it's like to be able to play high school hockey in such a huge hockey market.
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes out. It doesn't matter if they have a grandson or a relative playing on the team. They'll come out and just watch hockey just because they love watching hockey. And when we go up to Grand Rapids and play, they actually have season tickets for high school hockey. And it's just crazy because I remember my dad was telling me, he's like, yeah, I went to sit down, and some guy's like, this is my season ticket, and you need to move.
Right.
I was like, whoa, okay. That's crazy.
That would never be caught dead had happening in Rapid City, South Dakota. That's unbelievable. But, kind of describe what the game is like. So who were your guys' rivals real quick?
Well, definitely crosstown rival Lakeville South.
Lakeville South. Describe those kinds of games for me.
Oh, it's just crazy. The whole stadium is just packed. I mean, the rink.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
And, everybody's just cheering. The high school student sections are there. Usually there's a band from the home whoever's hosting.
Wow.
And it's just crazy.
Would you say it's like Yankees versus Red Sox almost?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really follow baseball too much, but
really,
for me, it sounds like it'd be the same thing.
Okay, cool. So you're not a Twins fan at all?
I mean, if they win, I cheer. If they don't win,
I got a Tiger shirt on underneath, so you're making me really happy right now. None of that Twins stuff going around this town. I can't stand that stuff. So growing up in Minnesota, we talked about what it was like, kind of like off the ice for you. You mentioned high school, but kind of off the ice, just kind of obviously you were able to go and play outdoor rinks, I'm sure, a lot because they're offered at every disposal. Everywhere you turn, there's a rink out there. But for you off the ice, just kind of describe your relationship with your family and just that part of growing up in Minnesota.
Well, I actually started playing hockey in Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Okay.
And there, we always had a rink right at our elementary school. So we'd always go out there, me and my brother and my dad, and we just go skating around, and you just had the best of times. And then, as you get older, I moved to Lakeville, and then I think we had 6 or 7 different outdoor rinks, and it was unbelievable. I mean, any day off, any day we got let out of school for a storm, we would go to the rink outside, and it was just that's just what we did.
I wish that could have happened to me when I was in school. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But away from the rink, who's been your biggest motivator in life? Would you say somebody who's always been there for you and given you great advice in life?
I'm gonna have to go with two of them: my mom and my dad.
The common cliche. I like that.
Yep.
Mr. and Mrs. Draeger are very happy right now.
Yes, they will be.
Yep.
My mom was she ran track redo there. She ran track in D1 down in Iowa State for the Cyclones.
Okay.
And my dad played football in college in Minnesota. So, I mean, they've always pushed me to do as much as I can, be the best I can. And, they've always set the bar high, especially with having my older brother go play football at Mankato. Yeah. So,
you're built to be kind of like a running back. Would you ever think about being a running back in football or something in football?
Yeah, I quit football in 7th grade. Until then, I was a
running back?
Sorry, I was running back
Yep.
and a linebacker.
Okay.
So that's just what I grew up doing.
You're built like a linebacker, so I completely understand that. I'll tell you a quick story. 5th grade, I played midget football. I was 73 pounds, and they stuck me on the daggone offensive line. So every time I hear a story about football and positioning, I see someone built, it's like, okay, at least you weren't 73 pounds playing offensive line.
Yeah, I actually got a story about that. So we had our weigh-ins for football, and I had hockey tryouts the same day. So I had to cut weight just so I could run the ball. And
oh, man.
So my dad's like, all right, we're not going to Burger King, no McDonald's. You need to get to weigh-ins. I'm like, I'm starving, Dad.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had 2 tryouts, and I'm hungry. He's like, no, you got to cut weight.
Oh, describe what that process is like, cutting weight. Dear goodness.
Well, it was just don't drink and don't eat. That was pretty much it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, my dad does it all the time. He used to be a wrestler too.
Oh, okay.
And
that's good.
when I was really young, I wrestled, but when you're that young, you don't cut weight at all.
Did you ever consider doing wrestling kind of as a full-time thing?
No. I mean, so me and my brother wrestled when we were very young. We started out doing that in the winter, and then our cousins played hockey that lived in the same town, and we're like, hey, we want to try that out, because we've always skated outdoors when we were really little, but we're like, hey, let's go try that out. And my dad's like, all right, sure. And then it turned out we were pretty good, so
I'd say so.
yeah. So then we just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And then from there, never looked back, really.
Well, clearly it's worked out for you. You're here at the junior level. You're trying to get a scholarship to college, which I'm assuming is an ultimate aspiration for yourself. So you did high school at Lakeville North High School, and then you made the switch a little bit, the Upper Midwest High School Elite Hockey League. So you were a part of Team Southeast. Now, a lot of people, for what I just said, are completely confused, like, what the heck did he just say? So for the average viewer out there who may not understand really what that is, kind of describe what that Upper Midwest League was like.
So it goes into right up to tryouts for our normal season, and it's just all the elite players, if you want to call, and it brings them all together, and you have different towns playing together, so it's kind of hard, and you're like, well, I don't know who my D partner is,
Yeah.
And so you get better at doing that, and you go to Wisconsin, you go up to North Dakota, and you play other teams.
Wow.
And you play Shattuck St. Mary's.
Yep, that's right.
And it's a really good high school league.
What was the biggest thing you learned from going there and playing in such a short time with them?
Just, don't worry about if you get scored on or anything. Just go out there and make the best of it.
Yeah. Pretty
That's
good.
pretty
For a defenseman, that's pretty good. That's a good little solid approach. So you make your way from Team Southeast, and you come here to the Brookings Blizzard last year. So you played 40 games with the Blizzard, so you have a pretty good idea of what the community is like. You have a good idea of what the system Momantha's trying to run as he walks right by us behind us here. He can't come on the camera because, unfortunately, he doesn't have a headset. But last year, 40 games played. You guys were in first place at Christmas time, and then it kind of just dipped down a little bit, and it just didn't go your guys' way in the second half. But look, aside from that, you had some pretty high moments last year. Kind of describe what last year was like in a nutshell for people who may not have seen last year's games.
Yeah, well, I started out, as a rookie, and I guess we were moving the puck really well, and things were just clicking for us. And then we ran into some problems, and it just didn't quite go as we wanted.
Yeah.
And so we found ourselves in a really rough spot, and so the leaders on our team just like, all right, guys, we got to figure stuff out. It doesn't matter if we win. We got to come out with heart. So that's pretty much.
Do you think the second half of last year, so last year you guys really just had a really tough go of it. Now you've translated it to the start of this year.
Yep.
You've had a little bit of a rough start, and it's noticeable. We're not going to try to beat around the bush or nothing. It's been kind of a tough start for you guys.
Right.
Do you think the lessons you learned last year have carried into this year to kind of motivate yourself to stay on the ice and go like, hey, we got this, guys. We've been through worse.
Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, you don't want to come to the ring pissed off and, just angry at the world. You got to come back and you got to have a good attitude, and you got to, propel others and, influence others to do better as for yourself.
Thinking like a captain. I like that. That's a good moment right there, my man. So obviously, I've told this to everybody who's been on this podcast. The goal has to be to win a Robertson Cup. That has to be the ultimate goal for you guys here this year. But since this is your second year, you're 19 years old. Am I right about that?
Yep.
So you're 19 years old. You have one more year of junior hockey eligibility left. But there's a chance you may not be here next year. You may be somewhere else. Who knows? And we'll see when that table comes. Time will only tell for you. But if this is your last year, and if this is the last time you'll be in Brookings this year, what do you need to do individually this year for yourself in your game to walk out the door and go, wow, what a crazy great experience Brookings was?
Yeah, I think I need to come out and do, like, Mo's been telling me, you're really good on the defensive side, but, go make yourself look good. Go out there and get some assists, get up in the play and score some goals. So, I mean, I think that's what I need to work on, definitely the offensive side of my game. So I think that'll help with the experience with the crowd to get them excited too.
Absolutely. So you consider yourself a defensive first defenseman, right? Would you say that?
Yes.
So coming into this year, when I first saw you, I thought the exact opposite. I will be honest with you. When I saw you for the first time, I'm like, this guy's a solid offensive juggernaut of a defenseman. So I think just to follow from what you said, you're kind of making good progress already on that. So what do you think has been the keys to the keys to that? Because you feel like you've already scored one goal this year. What have you been doing in practice differently to get to that goal?
It comes back to last year. Like, I started out and I was like, oh, I don't know how good I am. I was like that down on myself. This year I came into training camp, just being more positive about myself. Yeah. And definitely just thinking myself a little bit higher. Not hire everybody else, but just personally myself. Yeah. And so you definitely got to go out there with confidence, and I think that's really helped me this year.
So all this time we've been talking about Minnesota and that being kind of your home, but the truth of the matter is this is now your home. You've made Brookings your home, and your family's here. They are able to come to any game they want to, which is absolutely fantastic. I.e. Carter Krogman, very similar guys here. So the fact that you're able to do that and have your parents come to every game, essentially, what's that like for you?
It's a lot different. Everybody's like, oh, you live at home, like, that must be great. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it is, but sometimes you just wish you have the separation. Yeah. But it's always good to see my dad, and he always gives me, you got to do this better, you got to do that better. And so he keeps me going a little bit too, so that's always nice. It's always nice to see him in person instead of over a phone call. Right. Because it's always tough.
What do you think is now? Obviously, I'm sure he's been a big part of your hockey career. But what's been the biggest piece of advice or kind of motivation that he's told you to kind of keep your thoughts high and keep your positive thoughts moving forward? What's been the one thing he's told you?
Just go out there and give it your all, give it 110%, and as long as you worked your hardest, there's nothing you can look back on.
That's good advice. And that's cool. Where do they sit usually when they come here in Larson Ice Center?
He sits over on the railing over there, behind the penalty box.
Oh, the railings. Those are good. Those are high-demand seats, folks. So, unfortunately, the Draegers have those reserved, so those are no-nos. So, you've been with Brookings now for a year and a half. We mentioned that. Your family's here. You're kind of living a quintessential perfect life. You get to do what you love to do. Your family's here, and you're playing in front of a great home city. And the relationship with the fans is something that a lot of the guys really enjoy. So, describe what it's like for you and your relationship with the city and its Brookings and its fans.
I mean, they got the college here, so that's great. Yeah. I know a bunch of guys. I got a bunch of friends that go to SDSU, so they come to the games and they support us, and it's really great.
It's awesome.
And I also got cousins that live pretty close here, so they come down and they support us. And it's a small town feel, definitely. And coming from Hutchinson, starting out there, I definitely know how it is, because it's like, all right, well, what else are we gonna do? Oh, we'll go to the game. So it's always great, and they show a lot of support. And that's really good.
Yeah. The Brookings Blizzard got themselves a home run here. Now the hometown kid, I did not even know that until today. He told me that for the first time. My goodness gracious, where the heck have I been? Support for the Blizz Show podcast brought to you by our friends out at H&R Block, the part of the program where you guys know I love telling you about H&R Block. So now the next tax reform is definitely going to be affecting everyone's next tax return. So if you don't want to be surprised at tax time next year, what you need to do is you need to go visit H&R Block to find out how it's personally going to affect you and your taxes. If you're in the Brookings or Watertown area, new clients got to go see Wayne Nigstad. And you got to be sure to tell them that Weston DeWitt, the voice of the Blizzard, yours truly, sent you for a 25% discount off of your first tax preparation. H&R Block in Brookings is located at the University Mall, and for more information, you can call 605-692-5715. Again, that's 605-692-5715. All right, enough business talk. It's time to get down and have a little fun here with Brock. It's the rapid-fire segment, 5 questions. Anything is off limits. Now, I did some research on him, and I've been informed that he is the big hunting guy on this team. So some of them will be about hunting. He has not seen these questions before, and he's going to get in. Hopefully we don't stump him a little bit too much. But question number 1, since you're such a big hunter and the fact that you're sticking out your boots in the middle of a podcast yesterday reminding me that you have boots, what is the biggest achievement in your hunting life, the biggest animal you've caught, or what would you say is the highlight of when you've gone hunting before?
I took down a big 10-point buck with my uncle.
Oh,
yeah, it was a tag team, but it was really good.
Okay,
it was the really first buck I've ever shot at, so it was awesome.
Do you have a photo of that by chance?
I do not.
Okay, I was going to say if you had it, you'd have to give it to me, and then we'd have to tweet it out for everyone to see. That is a big score. And when was that? When did you get that big 10 buck?
That was my first year, so that was I think when I was 14 years old.
I was 14. I'd be scared just to go hunting. Goodness gracious. So to follow up from that, you've probably eaten a lot of strange things that you've hunted. I don't know whether it's pheasant or I've heard pheasant is pretty good, so
yes,
it's not strange. But what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten after you've hunted?
It's a ritual in our family. You always take a bite out of the heart your first year.
Really?
So that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten.
How does that taste?
It's just bloody. That's about it.
Okay, we're getting a little gory here on the Blizz Show podcast. That's good, though. I like that. Okay, so now you're a big Minnesota Wild fan, even though you consider Brookings home now. Minnesota's always going to have a special place in your heart. But as a Minnesota Wild guy, do you think that they're going to make some strong noise this year, given the fact that Boudreaux's still there and all that stuff?
I sure hope so. I mean, hopefully Stahl can bring more than he did at the end of the year last year, so hopefully they can get it together this year.
Are you surprised if Ryan Suter and Zach Parise are still with the Wild in a few years or so?
I can see Parise definitely staying, but I don't know about Suter, to be honest. I mean, he's kind of sinking away from his where he used to be.
Oh, really? And he's from Madison, Wisconsin, so
he is.
You really can't go home and play because there is no team in Wisconsin, so we'll have to see what happens with him. Question number 3. So I asked Shane Hathaway this question, and he got on me because he's like, you got to get more updated guys, Weston. So here it is. Since we're in the 21st, we are sitting here in 2018. Arguably the 2 biggest rappers, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So between those two, who do you got? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
I'm going to say Drake.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Why is that?
I just know more songs of his, I guess. I mean, I'm a big country guy, but
So
Drake's
who's the biggest country singer?
Toby Keith for me.
Toby Keith, okay. What is, why am I forgetting this? Thomas Rhett. I've always liked some of his stuff. Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He's more 21st century, I would say.
I gotta brush up on my country music with Brock Draeger, which I will do once the microphone goes off. Best winter activity in Minnesota is what?
Snowmobiling. Besides outdoor skating, snowmobiling.
Really?
I'd say so.
Have you been skiing before?
Yes.
And are you good?
I used to ski, now I snowboard.
Okay. Are you good at snowboarding?
I mean, I can do some tricks.
You do way better than me, that's for sure. All right, and last question. So we like to get guys' mindsets on what they do before the game, after the game, but specifically for you, when Friday or Saturday comes around and you got to show up to Larson Ice Center, walk me through the ritual of once you get to the rink. The superstitions are everywhere because you're talking to a player who was superstitious every single game that he played. So they have to be there, and what are they?
So right when I walk in, I come in, make sure my sticks are done, get undressed, get redressed in my warm-up clothes. I usually ask Ty if he wants to headbutt, just because it's Ty.
Yeah.
And then we'll go out and play some sewer, come back in for our meeting, and then we get dressed and warm up. And before we go back out on the ice, I ask Ty again if he wants to headbutt. And usually he's like, no, you got a helmet on, not now.
That sounds like a country thing to do.
Yeah.
No, it's an excuse.
Me and Ty are a little out there. So
yeah, you're a little rambunctious guy, but we need those kinds of guys. And last thing, Are you the kind of guy that likes to go left pad, right pad first? Or you just don't care about that kind of thing?
Right skate on first, tie the left one first, though.
Okay, you're lefty. That's what I thought. The lefty has to be the left skate. That's
Yep.
the rule. As a right-handed guy, I had to do the same thing. Right skate goes first. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
That's Brock Draeger, folks. Lakeville, Minnesota. Now he calls Brookings, South Dakota home. I am very jealous that he just gets to call himself home. That's pretty awesome. Okay, final words for Brock before we let him on out of here. We like to do is make sure you can promote these guys on social media. Make sure you guys go follow their pages. Where can fans go follow you on Instagram, Brock?
bdrag17 on Instagram.
Okay. Do you have a 1,000 followers?
1,000?
Yes.
No.
Okay, good. Now we finally have somebody who sympathizes. I've asked everybody that question, and they are all like, "Yeah, I have 1,000. It's no big deal." I have 300, so I got to find some endorsements from somebody to get myself up that high. So we're both in the same boat. That's good right there. Brock's good job, buddy. Appreciate you, buddy. Keep doing your thing, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. That's Brock Draeger, folks. Lakeville, Minnesota. Now Brookings, South Dakota. Blizz Show podcast. Make sure you guys tune in next week for another fresh episode. Brock Draeger, Weston DeWitt. See you later.